Hey everybody, I am here to do my 7-week vlog. I am still amazed. I may well say that every week, but I am still amazed that I get to do vlogs in general about pregnancy and that I get to keep doing those vlogs. I am reviewing week 6. This week, baby went from the size of a chocolate chip to the size of a blueberry, and chocolate chip has kind of stuck as a nickname. A couple weeks ago, my app said that baby grew to the size of a chocolate chip, but I kind of think that might have been a little bit early. I think it went to an apple seed first and then moved up to chocolate chip. There has been kind of a due date change. My doctor is deciding to keep my due date as the general point at this point. We were able to get an ultrasound on Thursday and see our baby, and we did get to see a heartbeat, and I will upload that video probably at the end of this one or totally separately. I know I said I was going to try and get that up on Thursday, but it just didn't happen, and it's been super crazy around here. So we were able to see all that. It was amazing, and because of that, we started looking for midwives, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I was at 6 weeks and 2 days, and I was measuring 6 weeks 1 day. So that's pretty normal to be off by a day or so. I was taking OPKs, but I did not follow up with the temperature stuff. So I wasn't absolutely 100% sure on the date I ovulated. My best educated guess based off of my history and the OPKs was that I had ovulated on CD21, so it was either cycle day 21 or cycle day 22, and the ultrasound would have put me due May 18th, but because it's 1 day, she's not going to change it. Right, symptoms. So emotional. This week has been a much less crazy highs and crazy lows up and down kind of week. Our dog had surgery, which we weren't going to do, but all of his biopsies came back as not cancer. So he did a splenectomy because his spleen was still enlarged, and the spleen is not a necessary organ, and he came back basically in the clear. So he's still on medicine and he's recovering from surgery, but it looks like our dog is okay. I haven't been super emotional in terms of pregnancy stuff. I've been pretty steadily calm. I was quite nervous before our ultrasound on Thursday, and I kept cracking bad jokes with the nurse, and she just wasn't really going for it. So it was kind of awkward, but oh well. In terms of physical, I have been getting some darker blue veins, and I have had a couple on my chest and my boobs, but nothing super crazy vibrant. But where I'm getting a lot of blue veins is on my hips and the very side of my stomach. So that kind of weirded me out. One day I was looking in the mirror and I was like, whoa, my hips are just like a road map. In terms of my boobs, my nipples aren't getting larger, except every once in a while I feel like they look a little bit larger, but they aren't really. But I have noticed the bumps that produce like oil and such, those have raised slightly. They are also a little bit more sensitive this week. Still been very hungry. Baby does not like fast food. There have been a couple times where I have had snacks, but just a bag of nuts or just a bag of crackers or just an apple was not quite gonna cut it. So I went through fast food because it was really the only thing available, and baby does not like it. The 2 times that I have done that this week, I have very much regretted it, both in terms of vomiting and in terms of diarrhea. The one exception to that is there is a Mexican food place that seems to be okay, but it's not like Taco Bell. It's not super crazy processed. It's very much like actual beans and actual rice and actual, like they make the guacamole and the salsa. So it's a lot more real food. It may be more greasy than I might make at home, but it is actual real food. So I'm guessing that's why. I'm guessing it's kind of the processed, super greasy combination. I have also still been very tired. The pregnancy exhaustion has kind of hit me hard this week. There have been a couple days where I took a nap when the kids came home, and still by 9 o'clock I was just like, okay, honey, you go ahead and play your game. I'm just gonna go lay down. My symptoms, nothing really this week. Still no crazy cervical mucus. I already talked about my nipples, so sorry about that. But yeah, that's kind of it. We did get to have a doctor appointment on Thursday at 6 weeks, 2 days, and we did get to have an ultrasound, and it was just amazing. So we went over my entire history, which is super depressing because every time I go in, they want to know, have you been pregnant? They want to know how many miscarriages have you had? When were they? All this stuff. We talked a little bit about my weight. I am still overweight. By their scale, I am 1 pound into obese. So by their scale, I was 180.4 or something. So I guess I'm up 1.4 pounds. By my scale, you know, that was with clothes and shoes and a jacket and whatever else. So, you know, by my scale, I was 177.8. So they want me to do the sugar drink right now. And the reason for that is to, for one, have a baseline, and for two, to make sure that I am not already diabetic. The problem with that for me is that I have done this stupid glucose test now, God, like 7 times in the last 5 years. I have done it so many times, and every single time, even at my heaviest weight, I have passed with flying colors. So I just think it's kind of unnecessary. I have changed my eating habits slightly, but it's not like I've gone paleo. So reacting to carbs, my body isn't going to necessarily react differently because of my diet change. I did get to go and see a midwife yesterday. I have started interviewing midwives. I got to do my first one yesterday, and I will upload a video about the questions that I asked midwives. I'm going to do that after my last midwife interview to make sure that I'm not adding or subtracting any questions. You know, I was talking to her about it, and she said, you know, 1 pound, that's kind of silly. So you can absolutely say no thank you to that test, and I wouldn't necessarily push you to have one at this point. We also did talk about genetic testing, testing for the possibility and percentages of like Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, things like that. And I am very, very hesitant on that because I have seen so many people, not only in my personal life, but on YouTube, get false positives or falsely high percentage rates. And I just don't want that to happen, especially because I have zero intention of doing an amnio unless there is some crazy medically necessary reason for me to do an amnio. I do not want to do one. So we're still kind of debating on that. We're debating because my husband does want to do it. He wants to be very prepared, and I understand that. That being said, the midwife yesterday did point me in the direction of a newer test, one of which is called the Panorama and one is called the Harmony test. It's a much lower false positive rate, and it is much better at detecting things like Down syndrome and trisomy 18 and what is Edwards, I don't remember. There's another trisomy. So I'm trying to kind of steer him in that direction. I'm going to do more research on it. I'm going to talk to my OB about it, and we'll see where that goes. I don't have any baby purchases for the week. I do have a favorites this week. I don't have very many. I just have one. Something that has helped me be very calm. A CD, it's a hypnosis for pregnancy by Bree Taylor Molyneux. The front looks like of the CD. She also has a hypnosis for IVF, which was very, very helpful with IVF. I have really liked the CD. It has 3 different things on here that I kept. It has other things that you can have, but I kept the short relaxation, which is specifically meant to help you connect with your baby. It has affirmations for pregnancy, which you can listen to every day, and I do on the way home from dropping the kids off from school. And then it has a hypnotic relaxation. I use the hypnotic relaxation pretty much every night before I go to bed. It's something that I pretty much fall asleep to, which is perfectly fine. And I feel so much more at ease and comfortable usually the next day when I use that at night. No extra books right now or house changes, still a little bit early, although my husband and I have been talking about that. He, crazily enough, is talking about possible addition to our house so that we can have all 4 rooms for us and still maintain a playroom and have possibly some kind of an office. And that's pretty much it for the week, and I'm pretty hungry, so I'm going to go and get an apple and maybe a sandwich, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah. And this is the yolk sac, the circle thing there. The yolk sac feeds the baby until the placenta is functional, around 10 to 12 weeks. So that, I'm just going to try to really zoom in on just that section.
See her flicker.
Yep. So it looks like it is flickering right there, and then I'm going to just like that. Over there.
Yay.
Is that its heartbeat or Kate's heartbeat?
That's it for now.
So because it's, you know, still getting going, it's, you know, kind of slower. As probably like a week from now, it'll be a lot faster.